Were Anunnaki ancient gods? Were alien gold miners who created humanity as slave labor? I'm Echo, your time-traveling guide who's been hopping through history for 3,000 years. And folks, I once accidentally crashed my time machine into a Sumerian temple while chasing this exact mystery. Trust me, the priests were not happy. But what I discovered in those ancient tablets will blow your mind harder than my landing. Picture this. It's 1976, New York City. Author Zecharia Sitchin drops a bombshell book called The 12th Planet that would shake the entire archaeological world. After 3 decades of studying cuneiform tablets, those wedge-shaped writings that look like someone sneezed on wet clay, Sitchin makes a jaw-dropping claim. The Sumerian gods weren't gods at all. They were extraterrestrial beings called the Anunnaki, and they landed on Earth 450,000 years ago with one mission: strip mine our planet for gold. But here's where it gets wild according to Sitchin's translations. These alien miners got tired of doing the heavy lifting themselves, so they did what any advanced civilization would do. They genetically engineered a worker species, humanity. We're literally cosmic employees who forgot we're on the payroll. Now, I've seen some crazy stuff in my time-traveling adventures. I once watched a pharaoh try to text message using hieroglyphs, but this Anunnaki theory, it connects dots across cultures that shouldn't even know each other existed. The Sumerians, the Egyptians, the Zuni people of New Mexico, even cave paintings in France from 17,000 years ago, they're all telling the same story of sky beings creating and teaching humanity. Mind blown yet? Smash that like button if you're ready to dive into humanity's most controversial origin story. But before we jump down this rabbit hole deeper than a Mesopotamian gold mine, let me set the scene. We're talking about the world's first written civilization, folks. The Sumerians basically invented writing, the wheel, agriculture, and urban planning. They went from hunter-gatherers to space-age mythology in what archaeologists call an impossibly short time. It's like going from flip phones to quantum computers overnight. So buckle up, time travelers. We're about to explore evidence that might prove our creators weren't divine. They were just really good at genetic engineering. Let's start with the evidence, shall we? In 1849, British archaeologist Austen Henry Layard made one of the most significant discoveries in human history. Deep in the ruins of Nineveh in Iraq, a city that's mentioned in the Bible, he uncovered the palace of Sennacherib, and later, his grandson Ashurbanipal's library. Together, these archives contained 20,000 to 30,000 clay tablets. That's basically the ancient world's version of the internet, carved in stone. Among these tablets was the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth. Now, most scholars read this as just another once-upon-a-time story, but ancient astronaut theorists see something else entirely. The tablets describe a god named Marduk taking blood from another god, Kingu, and mixing it with clay to create the first humans. Sound familiar? It's like a cosmic recipe for human soup. But here's where I get goosebumps every time, and trust me, I've read these tablets in 3 different centuries. The Anunnaki, which literally translates to "from heaven to earth they came," are described as flesh and blood beings, not ethereal spirits. They had emotions, they got tired, they complained about work conditions. These aren't your typical omnipotent gods, they're more like cosmic contractors with a mining operation. Alien miners or ancient imagination? Drop your theory in the comments below. According to researcher Jason Martell, the Anunnaki faced a crisis on their home planet Nibiru. Their atmosphere was failing. And the solution? Gold particles that could patch atmospheric holes. So they came to Earth, set up mining operations, and when the work got too tough, they decided to create a workforce. Enter humanity, stage left, with a genetic engineering plot twist that would make Marvel jealous. Here's where it gets really spicy. The tablets describe this genetic engineering process in detail. They mention taking genes from a female hominid, and after many trials, successfully blending genes to create the perfect being. Folks, this sounds less like divine magic and more like ancient CRISPR technology. I once met a scribe in ancient Babylon. Don't ask me how. Let's say that time travel gets messy. He swore that Anunnaki looked just like tall humans, about 8 feet in height. With advanced technology that seemed like magic to our ancestors, Even ancient scribes couldn't make this stuff up. But wait, there's more. This story doesn't end with Mesopotamia. Let's hop over to France, specifically the Lascaux Caves. Discovered in 1940, these caves contain Paleolithic paintings dating back 17,000 years. It's way before the Sumerians picked up their first chisel. Among the Ice Age animals painted on the walls, there's a strange creature, part human, part bird. Anthropologists call it a therianthrope, but ancient astronaut theorists call it a dead ringer for the Anunnaki sky gods. This is where the cosmos loves a good prank. Shamans in deep trance states, separated by thousands of years and continents, are encountering the same types of beings. Either humanity has a really specific collective unconscious, or we're dealing with actual entities that our ancestors regularly encountered. The Birdman of Lascaux looks remarkably similar to the Egyptian god Thoth and the Sumerian Anunnaki depictions. Coincidence? I've seen enough timelines to know the universe doesn't do coincidences this big. Tag a friend who needs to see this evidence, it's about to get even wilder. Let's journey to the American Southwest, where the Zuni and Hopi tribes have been carving petroglyphs for over 3,000 years. These aren't just random rock doodles, they're depicting beings with helmets, dome-shaped heads, and what looks suspiciously like spacesuits. The Hopi call them Kashinas, beings from space, who came to Earth in aircraft. Not gods, but space travelers, who brought knowledge from another planet. Clifford Mahuti, a Zuni tribal elder, puts it perfectly, in the Zuni way. We've always been taught that they're the keepers of the upper world, which means space. They're sky people, beings of extraterrestrial origin, and this is still within our mythology and religious practices today. Real UFO evidence or ancient imagination? Comment space if you think it's aliens, myth if you think it's just stories. Now, let's hop over to Italy's Val Camonica, a UNESCO World Heritage Site packed with mysterious petroglyphs. Here's where things get really interesting. Among the ancient rock art, there's a figure that archaeologists openly call the spaceman because it looks exactly like an astronaut with a helmet and glowing aura next to it. The Communion Rose, a flower-like symbol that some believe represents a spinning spacecraft. History's got more twists than a time vortex, and we're not done yet. The area around Val Camonica has connections to the Greek myth of Phaethon, who supposedly descended to Earth in a fiery chariot and taught metallurgy to the locals. Sound like a UFO landing and technology transfer to anyone else? But perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from the Dogon people of Mali, Africa. These descendants of Egyptian exiles possess astronomical knowledge that should be impossible. They knew about Sirius B, a white dwarf star that's invisible to the naked eye and wasn't even photographed until the 1970s. Centuries before modern science confirmed its existence. The Dogon claim their god Namo came from the Sirius star system, the same place ancient Egyptians believed their god Osiris originated. They even have wooden masks and astronomical models showing the orbital pattern of Sirius B around Sirius A. I've seen weird stuff in 3,000 years of time travel, but this gives me cosmic chills. Share this with your people if you're getting goosebumps too. Here's the kicker. Modern science has confirmed that Sirius B is exactly what the Dogon described. A white dwarf star, smaller than Earth, but weighing 8 times more than our Sun. The Hubble telescope verified this in 2003, but the Dogon had been teaching it for centuries. Robert Boval, a researcher, puts it best. The Dogon should not have known about the existence of this star. It's 8 light years away, and not even visible with standard telescopes. Yet somehow, they've been passing down precise astronomical data through oral tradition for generations. So here's where we stand. We have Sumerian tablets describing genetic engineering by beings from heaven to earth. We have cave paintings from 17,000 years ago showing the same types of entities. We have Native American petroglyphs depicting space travelers. We have Italian rock art of astronauts. We have African tribes with impossible astronomical knowledge. The universe is either playing the longest game of telephone in history, or our ancestors were documenting real encounters with extraterrestrial beings. Comment your theory below, I'm dying to know what you think. But here's the twist that even my time machine didn't see coming. What if the Anunnaki story isn't just about ancient aliens? What if it's about ancient time travelers? Think about it. Beings who appear throughout history, across cultures, with advanced knowledge and technology that seems impossible for their time periods. They're not visiting from space, they're visiting from our future. I once encountered a researcher in 2019 Seattle. who was studying mysterious blue stones found alongside ancient Nomale statues in Sierra Leone. These sky stones were discovered with 17,000-year-old artifacts. And here's the kicker. 12 different laboratories have tested them, and not one can agree on what they're made of. They're either natural formations we don't understand, or artificial materials that shouldn't exist. The local Sierra Leone legends say these stones fell from heaven when the Nomale gods descended to Earth. Could these be fragments of time travel technology? Heat shield tiles from interdimensional craft? You know I've seen stranger things in my travels, folks. But here's what really gets me, David Leadbitter. The man who discovered these stones in 1991 was told by local village chiefs that wherever sky stones are found, large amounts of gold and diamonds usually follow. Gold again. The same precious metal the Anunnaki supposedly came to mind 450,000 years ago. Even the universe loves a good callback story. What if the Anunnaki weren't ancient aliens but future humans who traveled back to guide our development? What if they needed gold not for their atmosphere, but for their time travel technology? What if the genetic engineering they performed was actually them ensuring their own timeline? By creating the species they would eventually evolve from, mind equals blown, time paradox equals activated. I've been chasing this mystery across timelines for centuries. Every piece of evidence points to the same conclusion. Something extraordinary happened to humanity in our ancient past. Whether it was aliens, time travelers, or interdimensional beings, our ancestors were definitely not alone on this planet. The cosmos just pulled its biggest prank yet, and we're still trying to figure out the punchline. So what's the truth about the Anunnaki? After 3,000 years of time traveling and 3 centuries of chasing this mystery, I can tell you one thing for certain. Some stories are too consistent across cultures to be just stories. Whether they were ancient aliens mining gold, time travelers ensuring their own existence, or interdimensional beings guiding human development, the Anunnaki legend touches something deep in our collective memory. Maybe it's because it answers one of our most fundamental questions. Where did we come from? And why are we here? The universe loves a good mystery, and this one spans from ancient Sumerian temples to modern research labs. It connects cave paintings in France to petroglyphs in New Mexico, from Egyptian pyramids to African astronomical knowledge. That's not coincidence, that's a pattern. Here's what I find beautiful about this mystery. It suggests we're not alone in the cosmos, and never have been. Whether our creators were aliens, time travelers, or something else entirely. The story of the Anunnaki tells us that intelligence, wisdom, and guidance have been part of the human experience since the very beginning. History's got more twists than a time vortex, but some twists reveal truths we're not ready to accept. Maybe the Anunnaki were real. Maybe they're still out there watching their greatest creation as we slowly piece together our own origins. What do you think? Were the Anunnaki, ancient aliens, time travelers, or just the world's most detailed mythology? Drop your theory in the comments below. And here's a question that'll keep you up at night. If the Anunnaki created us as a worker species, we've evolved beyond their original programming, what happens when the creators return to check on their investment? Vote in our poll. Were the Anunnaki aliens, time travelers, or mythology? If this cosmic mystery blew your mind, smash that like button and hit subscribe for more of Echo's interdimensional investigations. I've got mysteries spanning from fairy tale conspiracies to paranormal government cover-ups, and trust me, the universe has way more secrets than we realize. Next week, we're diving into the mystery of Atlantis. Was it an ancient civilization, an alien base, or something even stranger? Hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. Until then, keep questioning everything. Keep exploring the unknown. And remember, in the vastness of space and time, we're all just cosmic dust, trying to figure out who swept us into existence. This is Echo, signing off from the timeline where mysteries never end. See you in the next adventure, time travelers.